Warning. I know this may rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I don't give a darn about no beef that I'm not a part of. In fact, I wish both sides well in all of their future endeavors. Free Lil Durk and RIP to all of those that we have lost during the commission of street justice for the consequences of actions that have negatively affected both sides. After this warning, I will not speak on this topic anymore. We talking about ChainZ over here. What's happening? What's going on, folks? It's your guy V Man, aka Boss, but we'll get to that later. Knocking at your front door with another banger video where we're gonna discuss some of the hottest chains in the industry, past and present. Now, I was just gonna do hip hop chains, which you're gonna see a lot of on this channel. But this cultural phenomenon is spread beyond just the realm of hip hop and into the reach of anybody who sees this as a trophy or a status symbol on the road to success. And a lot of them busting too. Big or small, we want to see them all. You want a ball? Give me a call. I got a wall. I'll show it off. And a diamond tester if it's false. You heard me? Now, before we get started, don't come on my channel with all that hating ish talking about what somebody should have spent their money on because you ain't got it. They figured out how to get there. Did you? Now let's get back to the intro. For millennia, that's a couple thousand years. Keep up. Dating back to the Egyptian times, the kings and queens of Egypt, which is located in the continent of Africa, wore very elaborate jewelry to symbolize their status and power. Everything from bracelets to rings and earrings to head ornaments, and most importantly for this channel, a chain. Like our ancestors before us, jewelry, in particular the chain, has reemerged as a symbol for perceived wealth and power in black culture. If you have a chain, side note, a real one for you fozers out there, to the streets, you somebody. The bigger or the icier the chain, the more perceived wealth and power you have. Your chain is symbolic to your reputation, which means your chain is you. Because of this, a lot of people have died or killed to protect it. But regardless of the potential hazards that come with possessing a chain, it's viewed as a trophy, like winning a tournament or an Olympic medal or a title belt. The price tag on the chain can get very costly, with some people spending over $1 million. But for those who got it, they want to flex in it, and that's what we're here for. On this channel, we will examine some of the dopest chains in the game, past and present, and the details associated with them. But before we get started, take a second to hit that like button. Then hit that subscribe button to check out more content like this. Go ahead. It's right down there. I'll wait. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a 5-second countdown, and then we'll get started. Now, without further ado, I present to you the fourth installment of ChainZ. On this episode of ChainZ, we will be examining the ChainZ collection of Mr. Massa himself, Big Slime, NBA Youngboy. For those of you who don't know who NBA Youngboy is, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, YB is one of the hottest YNs in the game right now. Don't ask me what YN means. If you know, you know. And if you don't by now, it probably wasn't meant for you to know. NBA Youngboy, just like Lil Durk, which we spoke on in the two-part series that dropped prior to this episode, commanded the attention of the trenches by contributing a significant offering to the ever-growing genre of drill music. With his Baton Rouge roots, which if you know, you know, his unique style and voice, along with dropping hood banger after banger after banger, such as hit songs We Poppin', which has over 150 million views on YouTube, All In, which is one of my personal favorites at 185 million views, Outside Today, which is one of his first top hits, which is quadruple platinum at 247 million, No Smoke, which if you know, you know, banger, which is also one of his first mainstream bangers at 258 million views, and 3 times platinum. House Arrest Teens, which sits at over 300 million views. Untouchable, which is his first actual mainstream hit from the mixtape AI Youngboy, which is 2 times platinum and also has over 300 million views. Banger. And Genie, which is probably his biggest banger, amassing almost a half a billion views, which ain't no chump change. Actually, if we want to be technical with it, NBA Youngboy and Juice WRLD produced the hit Bandit, which cracked the top 10 spot on the Billboard Hot 100s list and has raked in over a half a billion views. And whether you a fan or not, you recognize this song as a banger. And that's just a few of his many songs that he has that has either cracked 100 million views or is close to cracking it within weeks. According to his YouTube statistics, YB has accumulated over 17 billion views on YouTube, which is only going up by the millions every day. Pretty much his entire career since 2017, Youngboy hasn't left the top 6 on the YouTube weekly popular charts, more times than not appearing in the number 1 and number 2 spots over talent as big as Taylor Swift, Adele, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Imagine Dragon, which is goated and elite talent to say the least. Ever since he stepped foot in the rap scene, NBA Youngboy has set the streets on fire, accomplishing a number of accolades and setting records in the process. His album Colors would have also hit the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 200s, but the Disney soundtrack for Encanto came out around the same time, and that joint was a banger. If you know, you know. And if you got kids, you definitely know. So I'm sure he was cool with the number 2 spot. Top, my bad, YB was all gas, no brakes at this point in his career and continued to drop banger after banger after banger, with another one of his projects, The Last Line Mito, also debuting at number 2 on the Billboard charts. He has also produced albums before and after this album that landed in top 10 spots on these charts, showing that NBA Youngboy is indeed elite in not just the rap game, but the music game as a whole, with a few of these albums debuting higher than some of your favorite artists in the music industry. And the thing is, he started doing this at just 17 years old. He even had the actual National Basketball Association, or NBA for short, on its head when his music had star basketball players turned up and being overly influenced by his lyrics. Some would even say that his music contributed to the Memphis Grizzlies making it to the NBA Conference Finals in explosive fashion. At the time of recording this episode of ChainZ, NBA Youngboy is currently on a 27-leg tour that he has named the Make America Slime Again Tour, or the Massa Tour for short, that due to popular demand expanded into a 45-leg sold-out tour that now costs no less than $300 a ticket if you are buying them secondhand on SeatGeek or StubHub and don't mind sitting in the nosebleeds. All of this, along with NBA Youngboy always being the center of controversy, it's no question how Youngboy is able to afford the chains that he has in his collection. To kick off NBA Youngboy's chain collection, I feel like it's only right to go with the chain that started it all, the NBA Youngboy Never Broke Again chain. Every major hip hop artist, as Youngboy is, has a unique chain that symbolizes their brand. A chain that when you see it, you know who it belongs to, regardless of whose hands it may fall into. Now, for the OG version of this chain to give it its flowers. The pendant started out as a rectangular medallion done in all yellow gold favoring a pressed gold bar. Lining the edge of the medallion is approximately 100 white round cut quarter to a half a carat diamonds that give the pendant detail and flair. In the center of the pendant, divided into three sections, is the words Youngboy, placed in the top and bottom of the three sections in an iced out Arial bold font, made up of approximately another 100 quarter carat white round cut diamonds. In the middle, or second section of the pendant, is the letters NBA done in more of a machine style font to closely resemble the NBA letters done by the basketball league. These letters are also iced out with approximately 100 white round cut diamonds. These letters are made on a separate layer than the gold bar medallion, giving it a 3D appearance, allowing the ice to be separated from the solid yellow gold background layer that it sits on. The chain to this pendant is a 20 to 22 inch, 14 karat, 8 millimeter solid yellow gold rope chain. Once that Untouchable and that Genie hit in the major way that it did, and that money started coming in, this chain was quickly upgraded to the NBA Never Broke Again chain that we are all very familiar with. As with the R chain by Rick Ross that we spoke about in episode 1, tap in, and Lil Durk's OTF chain that we spoke about in episode 2, tap in, NBA Youngboy put this chain through its Super Saiyan transformations as well. For the upgrade of this chain, NBA Youngboy went to Shine Jewelers out in Philly, PA, which becomes a thing with YB, seeing as though Shine made the majority of Youngboy's pieces, as you'll see. The first form of this upgrade started out as a yellow gold 2-layer pendant that is laced with a number of yellow canary and white round cut diamonds. The letters NBA of the logo are done in the same action condensed font that the National Basketball Association did their logo in. These letters are made up entirely of the yellow canary round cut diamonds. There are approximately 200 diamonds in the letter N, give or take a few, 200 to 300 diamonds in the letter B, and another approximately 200 diamonds in the letter A, totaling out to roughly 700 to 800 of these yellow diamonds in the letters of the pendant. The signature Jumpman logo, made to look like NBA Youngboy holding a pistol, which is his own separate layer that sits on top of the NBA letters, is made up entirely of approximately 100 white diamonds. Last but not least, to complete this pendant, dangling from the feet of the Jumpman character, is the phrase "Never Broke Again," done in solid gold with no background that attaches from one foot to the other as a movable piece. The bell to this pendant is a standard style bell done in yellow gold and covered with a number of yellow canary round cut diamonds to match the pendant. Since Youngboy introduced this chain to the chain gang, it has gone through a number of different transformations with style and even color before reaching the form that it is in today. We've witnessed a rose gold version of this chain, a pink diamond version of this chain, a 3D pop-out version of this chain, a version where he is holding a F&N instead of the typical pistol that the earlier versions held, all the way up to its current final form, the totally iced out invisible set white gold version, where he upgraded the gun he's holding into an iced out Tech 9. Everything about the shape of the pendant is still the same, just much larger and more pronounced. Key differences, aside from the size, are that unlike the original upgraded piece, this piece has a bordered trim around each of the three letters that is full of an eighth of a carat to a half a carat invisible set white round cut diamonds to give the letters a 3D pop out effect. The inside of the letters that were once round cut diamonds are replaced with strategically placed vertical set baguette diamonds, which, as we talked about in the last episode, gives off more of a solid fire because of the stair-step facet walls that make up the center of the diamond. So where the original NBA Youngboy chain blinged, this one blows. I'm counting anywhere between 60 and 80 baguette diamonds, all invisible set. Another key difference is the size and style of the nameplate bar that is attached to the bottom of NBA Youngboy's feet. The bar is made up of white gold and is covered with bust down white round cut diamonds all over it. As a disclaimer, this is not the first time he has done this with the nameplate bar, as he has done it throughout most of the upgrades of this chain, but we haven't mentioned it before, so I'm mentioning it now. The words "never broke again," just like the original, is cast in white gold with no diamonds to allow for the words to stand out. The bell on this upgrade also has 30 or so horizontally placed baguette diamonds all over the front of it. The chain that he often wears with this piece is a 22 to 24 inch, 14 to 16 millimeter iced out white gold flower style Cuban link chain, sometimes switched out with the same size and length iced out white gold Miami style Cuban link chain. There are instances where you will see him wear two of these Never Broke Again chains at the same time, with the chain for one of them being slightly longer in length. This allows Youngboy to be able to stack the chains without them overlapping and clashing into one another, while making the optical illusion to anyone looking at it that the pendant appears to be larger than it is because there are two of them to look at. Next up on the YB collection list is the iced out YPC chain that NBA Youngboy bought after the chain was repoed from NFL Chargers linebacker Melvin Ingram. YPC is Melvin Ingram's clothing brand and crew name. That's short for Young Paper Chasers, which fits Youngboy's image and brand perfectly. So it's almost like the chain was made for YB, it just had to find its way to him. The letters that make up the pendant of this chain are made up of white gold and is flooded entirely with white round cut invisible set eighth of a carat to a quarter carat diamonds. The font of the letters are done in a Cooper Black style font, which gives it that puffy cloud type of vibe. The pendant is a single layer pendant that is blown out and manipulated to give it a dome puffy look that complements the font of the letters. Around the edges of the pendant is 2 to 3 rows of smaller diamonds, leaving no space of the gold untouched if it isn't the back of the pendant. The bell of this piece is a standard long style bell that is iced out just like the pendant that connects it through the top of the letter P. The chain on this bell is a 20 to 22 inch, 10 to 12 millimeter iced out white gold flower style Cuban link chain. Moving on. The next chain that we are going to talk about is NBA Youngboy's 38 baby chain. For those of you that are unaware, NBA Youngboy grew up on 38th and Chippewa in Baton Rouge, which is why he reps the 38 in all things associated with his career. He's got songs, albums, tattoos, and jewelry that all rep 38th. If you look at this chain, it literally is a bust down white gold 38 with red rubies representing blood that is dripping away from it. Much like the YPC chain, the font of the 38 is done in Cooper Black font, which is ironically why I say that the YPC chain was made specifically for him, because he had the 38 chain before purchasing the YPC chain, and when you look at them side by side or even on top of each other, they look like they almost came as a set. The diamonds on the 38th are white round cut invisible set quarter of a carat diamonds that encompass the entire pendant. I was trying to find the perfect way to introduce this chain, and this segue to the 38 baby chain was a perfect spot for it to go. Now on to the 38 baby chain. This chain, also made by Shine Jewelers, resembles NBA Youngboy as a baby monkey wearing a onesie with the phrase 38 baby on the front of it. The chunky 3D baby Youngboy pendant is totally iced out from head to foot with over 1,100 white round cut diamonds of all different sizes, ranging from an eighth of a carat up to a half a carat, with most of them being a half a carat. Now let's do some math. Remember in the last episode, we discussed that a round cut diamond, because of its facets or bling walls, has approximately 58 opportunities for it to hit. Multiply those opportunities by the 1,100 diamonds that make up the 38 baby pendant, and you are looking at close to 65,000 opportunities for the pendant to bling in a single glance. That's crazy work. Bussin'. Depending on which one of these pendants you are looking at, both of them have rose gold settings on the onesie part of the pendant to give the onesie and the pendant some color, with YB's body parts being done in white gold settings. On the face of the baby, the jeweler put enamel trimmings along the lines of NBA Youngboy's surgery scars on his head and in his eyes to give the piece some detail. On one version of the pendant, the scars on his head are done in black enamel, with the eyes being done in a neon yellow enamel. On the other version, the scars are done in blue enamel and the eyes are done in a red enamel. Both pieces have black enamel eyebrows and a black enamel nose. The bail to this pendant is a white gold standard long style bail that is made up of roughly 100 quarter of a carat to a half a carat diamonds. That hangs from a 20 to 22 inch, 12 to 14 millimeter, two-tone, rose gold and white gold flower style Cuban link chain. Before actually talking about the details of the chain, let me make note that the bail of this chain is another 5,800 opportunities for the overall chain and pendant combo to bling, added to the already 63,500 opportunities, which puts us at 69,300 opportunities at a single glance. Now back to the chain. Every 4 links on this Cuban link chain transitions from rose gold to white gold along the entire chain. Each of these links are covered in 6 vertical set baguette diamonds in the center, with another 24 smaller quarter carat white round cut diamonds surrounding them. Being that this is a 20 to 22 inch chain, we will approximate that this chain has 32 to 36 links. We'll even tighten the number by saying 34 just to finish the math on this chain. Now let's take those 34 links and multiply them by the 24 round cut diamonds on each of these links, and you are looking at over 800 round cut diamonds in the chain. Now let's multiply these 800 diamonds by 58 facets, and that gives us 46,400 opportunities for this chain to bling at a single glance. Now we will also take those 34 links and multiply them by 6 baguette diamonds that are on each of these links, which gives you 204 baguette diamonds on the chain. Now we will take those 204 baguette diamonds and multiply them by 14 facets that make up a baguette diamond, and you are looking at an additional 2,900 opportunities for this chain to bling. Now take this 2,900 opportunities and add it to the 46,400 opportunities that make up the round cut diamonds, and you are looking at 49,300 opportunities overall for this chain to bling. Last but not least, let's add this 49,300 opportunities to the 69,300 opportunities that make up the pendant, and you are looking at a whopping 118,600 opportunities for this chain and pendant combo to hit in a single glance. Now that's bussin'. Next, we come to the hardest chain in YB's collection aside from the headlining piece of the show, the Gravedigger chain. This chain, made by Shine Jewelers, is a chain that matches NBA Youngboy's personality and brand to a T. If you are not familiar with NBA Youngboy's music and image, he raps about and promotes violence in the majority of his songs. In fact, and I mean no shade behind this, he is one of the main factors as to why the crime rate's age has gotten younger and in fact going up since he hit the scene. To further push the narrative that he started as a YN, he was gifted a chain that he himself dubbed the Gravedigger chain. The Gravedigger chain is one of the largest pieces in Youngboy's arsenal. The pendant of this chain is a decent-sized, iced-out rose gold medallion that hangs from a 24 to 26 inch, approximately 16 to 20 millimeter, custom bust-down infinity link chain. We'll talk more about the details of the chain in a minute. By definition, since we are going to be using the word so much, a medallion is a large decorative metal that is circular in shape. To create the border or trim of the medallion of this piece, the jeweler lined it with a little over 60 nice-sized, half to a whole carat white round-cut diamonds. The inside base of the Gravedigger medallion is covered in approximately 200 emerald-cut diamonds, give or take a few. As we briefly touched on in the last episode, emerald-cut diamonds, unlike baguette diamonds, have beveled edges, whereas baguette diamonds have more of a flat edge and tends to be a flatter diamond. Because of this difference, an emerald-cut diamond has at least 8 extra opportunities to shine with bigger, longer hits than a round-cut diamond. This brings the amount of opportunities to bling to close to 40, which for a piece of this magnitude, more is what you want to go for. The details of the pendant include the phrase 4KT in Times Roman font, done in rose gold trim with no filler background. The emerald cut diamonds are the background of this phrase. In the rose gold trim are over 100 smaller 1/16 to 1/8 of a carat white round cut diamonds to add some detail and shine to the letters. For those of you that don't know what 4KT means, I'm about to inform you. 4KT means I have no clue, and neither do you. Besides knowing that it's 4K Trey, NBA Youngboy and his crew keeps the meaning of what 4KT means close to the chest. There's some speculation as to what it means from a number of different sources, but no one has the actual answer. Fun fact, did you know that they gave a woman the boot from their presence for asking what the phrase means? Moving on. On the Gravedigger medallion is a 3D rose gold coffin, not a casket because a casket has 4 sides and a coffin has 6, covered with a little over 300 of a carat to a quarter carat round cut white diamonds. The trim of the coffin is done in slightly bigger round cut diamonds than what is on the lid. The emblem of the coffin is a 3D figure of the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ, done in solid rose gold, nailed to a 12 emerald cut diamond cross. On both sides of the coffin is an AR-15 rifle done in rose gold with small 1/16 to 1/8 of a carat diamonds on the magazine, the handle, the trigger, and the shoulder stock of the guns. Now back to the chain. As I said before, the chain on this piece is an infinity link, but what I didn't mention is that the chain transitions into a flower-style Cuban link chain. Each infinity link is half white gold and half rose gold that transitions at the point where each link twists. There are 2 of these links on each side of the chain before it switches into a Cuban link chain. In between each of these 2 links, on both sides, the jeweler strategically places another coffin, but this time the lids of the coffin are done in over 80 emerald cut diamonds like the pendant. It has a trim of rose gold that separates the emerald cut diamonds from the 3 rows of round cut diamonds that line the edge of the coffin. A unique feature to this chain is that the coffins on the chain actually open, revealing another AR-15 rifle done in white gold on a solid white gold background. The inside trim and lid of the coffin, however, are done in rose gold. This piece is a fire piece, and one that is definitely worthy of being a part of the chain gang. I would even go as far as saying it's the hardest piece he has, but the next piece we are going to talk about outdoes the Gravedigger chain, and you are about to see why. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, your headlining piece of the episode, NBA Youngboy spinning 38 baby portrait chain. But before we do,
Breaking news. New chain alert.
I gotta make this clear. Bosses don't carry bags. We carry statements. Get online, baby.
as we've talked about, NBA Youngboy is truly one of the most underrated artists of all time. And that's not just an opinion according to all of the accolades and accomplishments that he's achieved. That's a fact. Oh, but he's on the rise. Having over 16 billion streams is not chump change, and the industry is starting to take notice. Only the elite accomplish these type of numbers, which NBA Youngboy is elite. And if you need further evidence, this plaque will tell you all you need to know. A tour that started out with 28 shows ended with history being made. 41 sold out shows, 500,000 plus tickets sold, amassing over $75 million, which places him in the top 15 highest grossing rap tours of all time, with top notch talent such as Drake, who has the highest, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Nicki Minaj, Travis Scott, Kanye West, and J. Cole, just to name a few. Fun fact, and this is no shade to Double XL. I like their magazines. But did you know that NBA Youngboy is the only artist that is currently elite talent that hasn't been featured on the cover of the magazine in the freshman class section? And the irony is, of all of the artists featured, not one since NBA Youngboy's start in what would have been the 2018 freshman class has cracked the top 15 list for the highest grossing rap tours, or even accomplished what he's accomplished for that matter. The next closest would have been Travis Scott from the 2013 class and Future of the 2012 class, showing NBA Youngboy's dominance over the last 7 to 8 years. During the closure of the tour, Joe the Jeweler presented YB with a gorgeous chain to commemorate his success. This artistic masterpiece has a shine and design that is definitely worth the quadruple takes it will get from anybody that lays eyes on it. The chain spells out the word Massa, which means Make America Slime Again, which is also the name of Top's tour, which is also the name of Youngboy's 8th studio album that was released right before the tour started. The Massa pendant is a massive iced out two-tone pendant that is made mostly of rose gold, but with quite a bit of white gold involved in it. In fact, the pendant darn near covers the entirety of Youngboy's chest, and it is about the size of an adult male hand turned sideways, length and widthwise. The pendant is a 3D multi-layered pendant, with the base layer of it being done in white gold for the most part, with traces of rose gold sprinkled in around the diamonds that cover the entire layer. Let's start there. The base layer is meant to serve as the background for the letters. However, the letters by themselves in no way, shape, or form touch this base layer. Placed on top of this layer are a number of studs that are also iced out that the letters sit on top of to give it a 3D effect. For obvious reasons, I can't count the amount of diamonds that are on this layer, but if I had to give an educated guess, I would say there are close to 400 white round cut diamonds ranging from a quarter of a carat to a half a carat on just this layer alone. Around the edges of this layer is another 3 rows of the same types of diamonds. We'll say about 250 to 300. On this same layer, there are a number of slime drips to go with the slime theme that makes up the design of this pendant. The frontmost part of the pendant, which is the third layer, are the letters, which we will come back to because of its unique feature. In between the first and third layer is a second layer that, just like the baguette cut studs, hold the two massive layers together. This layer of the pendant is made up mostly of rose gold and is thick enough that it supports the two layers in the front and back of it. The design of this layer is made to look like two conjoined American flags that connect at the tip of the flags. The thickness of this layer allows for some wiggle room and creating some depth perception to the piece, which is exactly what Joe the jeweler did. Where the red stripes would be, Joe the jeweler replaced it with stripes of approximately 240 emerald cut diamonds, and where the white stripes would be, Joe hollowed it out and put tiny white round cut diamonds all throughout each stripe. The posts of the American flag are white gold and resemble drips of slime with more pear-shaped diamonds inside of it. On top of the American flags, going from one side to the other, is an iced out rose gold slime cap that is its own 3D layer. Now we come back to the Massa letters on the pendant. The Arial bold style font, solid rose gold letters, are positioned just below the combined American flags, forming one solid overall look when all three pieces are combined. A unique feature to this chain, besides the different types of diamonds that this chain has, is that Joe decided to, instead of having the round cut diamonds facing right side up, he put them upside down so that the pavilion and the cullet of the diamonds stick out from the pendant to give it an edgier look. And if you are familiar with NBA Youngboy's emo type style, you will realize that this was a brilliant way to go on this chain. By the way, if I went over your head by saying pavilion and cullet, go check out episode 3 of ChainZ and it will make more sense to you. The diamonds are all different sized diamonds, ranging from a half a carat on up to some diamonds looking like they are almost 2 carat diamonds. And we are talking about hundreds of these diamonds. There are also quite a few of the same set and style diamonds in the slime that is sitting on top of the letters. To offset these diamonds, the jeweler put heavy diamond cuts around the diamonds to give the pendant some added texture. On these letters are more white gold iced out slime drips coming from the top of them. These slime drips also are made up of a number of pear-shaped diamonds throughout it, with the key difference being that the base of the slime droplets is made up of an iced out 5-point star. The points of the star are made up of smaller half a carat white round cut diamonds, with the center of each star having a bigger 1 to 1.5 carat diamond in it. This chain of pendant combo is unique in the way that its bails are structured. Because of the size of this pendant, it couldn't just have a central bail like you see with a lot of chains. It had to have two bails connecting at each end of the pendant to balance its weight. These bails are rose gold, iced out 38 baby shaped bails that is connected to a very unique chain design. Just for the record, I don't know what to call these links because they are not infinity links, but they're also not Cuban links. You know what? We just gonna call them Youngboy links, or YB links for short, since I never seen nobody with this style or link on their chain. It's definitely a one of one. As a matter of fact, can we just go ahead and give flowers to NBA Youngboy for the chain itself on these pieces? Because as you have seen and are gonna see, all of his major pieces have one of one chain designs, and they all bussin'. These thick YB links are two-tone white gold and rose gold links that is done entirely in a honeycomb design. Where one honeycomb ends, the next honeycomb begins. And it's like that throughout the whole entire chain. With most of the honeycomb designs being done in white gold, there are a nice number of rose gold honeycombs strategically placed throughout the chain to give it a stunning look. The ratio is about 3-to-1, white gold to rose gold. Inside each honeycomb is a prong set, half a carat to a whole carat white round cut diamond. All of that, and we still ain't finished yet. The outside point of each YB link has a pear-shaped diamond placed at each side that is trimmed in white gold. Even the lock on this piece is unique. The white gold insert clip of the lock and the white gold part that the insert clip goes into, when connected, joins together to form the word Massa, which is done in rose gold with about 60 white round cut quarter to a half a carat diamonds in all four letters, which is common, right? Nope. NBA Youngboy and his jeweler took it a step further and made the clasps that hold the insert and the clip together into an iced out white gold snake that actually has solid white gold teeth. Now, when the clasp is open, it looks like the snake is about to attack you, with the rose gold words Massa in his mouth. But when the clamp closes, it looks like the snake bit down and swallowed the Massa letters. The detail on the head of the snake, just like the chain, has a honeycomb pattern all across it, with most of the honeycombs being done in white gold, but a number of the honeycombs scattered throughout done in rose gold. Again, with about a 3-to-1 ratio. This piece is so fire that it deserves a headlining spot on the show, which I'm not gonna lie, I could do. But nah, this NBA Youngboy we talking about, and we can spare an extra couple minutes on his chains. He earned that. Now let's jump right into the original new chain alert that I was gonna do for this episode until that Massa chain came along, which kind of switched up the game plan, but we making it work. While this chain may not be new, this chain is new enough that it deserves to be recognized on an episode about NBA Youngboy. Plus, chains wasn't a thing yet when it dropped, so let me cook. This is a chain that we're going to label the Anarchy chain, this time made by Jewelry Unlimited. And there's no question why NBA Youngboy would get an Anarchy chain as his choice of chain to go with. From day one since he entered the game, he has been a wrecking ball to the industry with no F's to give, even to the point of being blackballed in his own words, which, come on, you don't need a magnifying glass to see it. If you know, you know. NBA Youngboy might be one of the most underrated artists of all time, and he is most certainly causing anarchy to show you this. You like that segue, don't you? Yeah, it's about that time that you go hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You know I'm killing it. That like button ain't too far away either. I told y'all, as long as you showing me that you digging what I'm doing, I ain't gonna stop. Now back to the Anarchy chain. This chain has a similar makeup to the Gravedigger chain, being that it is a medallion chain with links that connect to the side of it. These chains have no bail, which gives it a unique visual when it hangs. Plus, each of these chains have unique links to them that makes them one of one, as we spoke on earlier. We'll start with the pendant. The circle of the medallion pendant is the circle of an anarchy symbol. In fact, the medallion is an iced out anarchy symbol with no background to it. There is a background to the medallion, but it's not part of the anarchy symbol. We'll circle the block on that in just a second. This anarchy symbol is made entirely of white gold and is full of emerald cut diamonds in the center of it. And you know we counted them for you. There are approximately 266 emerald cut diamonds that make up the anarchy symbol, giving the anarchy symbol alone over 11,000 opportunities for light to hit a facet and produce a bling. The trim around the anarchy symbol is made up of 2 rows of 100 quarter carat to a half a carat white round cut diamonds, with the side walls around the medallions being made up of another 4 rows of over 100 of the same type of diamonds. That's another approximately 35,000 opportunities. Now to circle the block. Even though there's no background to the Anarchy symbol itself, on the inside of the Anarchy symbol serving as a replacement background is a white gold iced out demon with green eyes that is peeking through the Anarchy symbol. The demon's face is made up of a skeleton with pointed ears and a whole lot of diamonds, which we will approximate at roughly 300 to 350 diamonds. The eyes are made up of a slime green enamel to match the slime green flags that him and his crew are known to carry around. At the base of the face is the demon's hand coming through the Anarchy symbol, pulling on it to create a bigger opening for it to peek through. The fingers of the demon are made up of another roughly 200 diamonds, with the demon's fingernails being made up of solid polished white gold with no diamonds in them. Now back to the chain. The best way to describe this chain is to say it's an infinity link chain that's not really an infinity link chain. Let me break this down for you. The chain connects to the pendant by way of an iced out white gold werewolf that is biting down on iced out rings that is molded to each side of the Anarchy symbol. The werewolves are highly detailed and consist of anywhere in between 100 and 150 white round cut diamonds in each one. Each werewolf that is connected to the pendant has another werewolf attached to the back of it facing the opposite direction. These werewolves are the same as the previous werewolves spoken about, and they too are biting down on the ring part of an iced out white gold infinity link that is covered in approximately 80 to 100 white round cut diamonds each infinity link. On the opposite side of each of these infinity links is another werewolf biting down on it, and just like the initial werewolves, there is another werewolf attached to the back of it that is biting down on another infinity link. By this point, we have described the general makeup of the chain, minus 4 more werewolves and 2 more infinity links that are then attached to the iced out white gold lock of this chain that I believe reads the words 4KT in white gold. This chain is deserving of a headlining spot because of its unique qualities and features and the fact that it's the first of its kind to do what it does. To keep matters simple, I will sum up the size and length of the chain as being very similar to that of the Gravedigger chain. It's a medallion pendant that is about the same size, and the chain of it is about the same length and width. Now that that's out the way, on this particular medallion, everything that doesn't spin, we are going to call the trim and the border of the part that does spin. Now let's get it. The border of this pendant is made up of rose gold, which means the medallion is a rose gold medallion. Along the outside trim of the border is approximately 100 pear-shaped diamonds, all pointing inward, with the outside trim of the diamonds being lined with a thin rose gold strip that goes all the way around the inside border of the trim, which separates these diamonds from the other 95 to 100 pear-shaped diamonds that fill in the gaps of the previously mentioned diamonds pointing the opposite direction or inward. Keep up. The strategic positioning of these 2 rows of pear-shaped diamonds create a thick straight line border around the trim of the medallion. On the inside of those diamonds to complete the final layer of the border of the medallion are 90 to 95 quarter to a half a carat white round cut diamonds. On the outside edges of the medallion are 4 to 5 rows of a lot of 1/8 to a quarter carat round cut diamonds. I can't really find a clear picture to be able to count them all for you, but if I had to take a guess, I'd say anywhere in the ballpark of 400 to 600 diamonds. That's almost 30,000 opportunities to give off a bling on just the outside of the medallion alone. I'll have a final number for you in just a second. Now, we come to the inside centerpiece of the pendant. I've examined quite a few chains already. In fact, a lot. More than we've even already done in the episodes. and I have yet to find a chain that by pulling a lever on the bottom of the pendant, the centerpiece completely drops out of the medallion while still staying connected, spins, and then can pop back into place to create a whole different pendant. On one side of the pendant is a 3D rose gold pop out of the 38 baby logo, similar to the chain that we talked about earlier, that is covered in over 150 to 200 white round cut diamonds. The details, such as the 38 baby letters, the eyes, the mouth, and nose, and NBA Youngboy's signature scars, are all done in solid rose gold. In fact, in some pictures, the nose and the mouth looks like it might be done in baguette cut diamonds, but I'm not gonna merch that until I know for sure. The hair of NBA Youngboy is done in 12 bigger, possibly 1 carat diamonds. The background of the spinning centerpiece is covered in approximately 250, give or take a few, what appears to be Asher or square emerald cut diamonds. But we are going to go with Asher until proven otherwise, which will make for 4 different types of diamonds in this piece. On the flip side of the centerpiece of this medallion is a very familiar picture of NBA Youngboy's grandmother that passed away, which kick-started who and what Youngboy has become today. From how he speaks about his grandma and what her passing did to him, you can tell that it genuinely broke his heart. Now, I'm not sure if that's why he got the iced out broken heart chain or not, but it sure fits the description. Rumor has it that the other piece of the broken heart belongs to Quando Rondo, but I'ma just use my human imagination and assume that that heart is the heart that was broken when he lost his grandma. Until proven otherwise, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. This piece is an important piece to YB's collection because it was one of his starter pieces along with the YPC chain, which often can be seen worn together. In the video for Self Control, he was wearing it with his 38 baby chain that we spoke on earlier, so it's definitely a piece to be talked about. The broken heart piece is a pretty chunky piece that is full of 1/8 to 1/4 carat diamonds all over it, covering the entire piece. It hangs from an iced out, bust down, white gold flower style Cuban link chain that hangs down to where his heart would be, so we'll say 26 inches. That's all I'm really going to say about that chain because I want to get back to the chain that the spinning grandma medallion hangs from. As we spoke on earlier, if I'm being honest, NBA Youngboy definitely comes through with the actual chains that his pendant hangs from. On the Gravedigger chain, it was a 2-tone infinity link connected to coffins that was then connected the rest of the way to a flower style Cuban link bust down. As you've seen on this new chain alert, on the Anarchy piece, the chain is made up of wolves that connect together to form links. On the Massa piece, we call them YB links that actually had multicolored honeycomb arrangements all over each link with a diamond in the middle of each honeycomb that had pear-shaped diamonds off of its edge to create a thorn-like look that was connected to 2 rose gold 38 baby bales. And on this piece that we currently talking about, each link of the chain is made up of the 38 baby's face. And you are looking at 2,400 diamonds in the chain alone. Now, for the opportunities, you still have 58 opportunities for light to hit each diamond at a glance, which gets you almost 140,000 opportunities. Now add that to the 70,000 opportunities for the pendant, and you are looking at almost 250,000 opportunities for this chain and pendant combo to bling in a single glance. Sheesh. To finish this chain off, the faces that make up the links of the chain join together at an iced out white gold lock that reads the phrase 4KT in rose gold. That brings us to the conclusion of this episode of ChainZ. Shout out to NBA Youngboy for his very impressive chains collection, and welcome to the Chain Gang. You deserve a spot here amongst the elites. I hope I did you right, my guy. You definitely got a collection worth talking about. Comment below which chain was your favorite, and hit that like button if you enjoyed the episode. Also, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you want to continue to be notified whenever we drop a new banger. And if this is your first episode that you're tuning into, go check out the other episodes in the archives. You won't be disappointed. On the next episode, we're going to branch off of NBA Youngboy and hit the ChainZ collection of one of the people who not only brought NBA Youngboy to the forefront, but who also played a big part in starting this bling bling trend. This legend has to be on Mount Flexmore, and if he wasn't, it would be a crime. Mr. Cash Money himself, put some respect on his name. The #1 stunner, Birdman. Also, we will be doing another giveaway, so make sure you tapped in for your chance to win something. For details on how you can enter to win, check out episode 2 and get this money. To those of you who are already subscribed, you are greatly appreciated on the top tier level. Peace.